Welcome to another explainer. Right now, your bank account is likely suffering from a slow, invisible illness. Honestly, it's not the big one-time purchases that break you anymore. It's the $5, the $9, and the $15 monthly deductions that you've completely forgotten about. You see, in the modern economy, companies don't just want you to buy a product once. No, they want to rent it to you forever. Everything has been turned into a subscription. It's a deliberate corporate strategy we call the frictionless drain. So today, we're going to expose the dark psychology behind how companies hide these costs, and I'm going to give you the exact financial defense blueprint to plug the leaks and fight back.
Okay, let's dive into this incredibly frustrating question that literally everyone with a smartphone has faced at some point. Think about the last time you tried to cancel a service. You didn't just click one single button, right? You probably had to survive a multi-step exit interview, face all these scary warnings about losing your data, and navigate this absolute maze of confusing menus. It relies heavily on something behavioral economists call the status quo bias. Once an app is on your phone, your brain treats canceling it as an active chore, so you delay it. It feels like a mistake in the design, but I assure you it is entirely on purpose.
Just take a look at this. According to a recent Global Consumer Insights report, 44% of consumers actively report that subscriptions are taking a very noticeable bite out of their budget. That is a staggering number. It really highlights how aggressive this corporate strategy is. From your entertainment to your software to premium delivery services, everything is a sub. And once they get you in the door, they use highly optimized tactics to keep you paying. Meanwhile, that $12 a month quietly compounds over 5 years into nearly $1,000 handed straight to a tech giant.
And this beautifully illustrates the core strategy they use against you. It's a system that consumer protection organizations literally call the Roach Motel. Signing up takes one click and Apple Pay. Leaving? Well, that requires a map, a compass, and 20 minutes of your time. Unlike accidental design flaws, Roach Motels are meticulously structured to reduce customer churn and artificially inflate their recurring revenue.
Which brings us to Chapter 1, Algorithms and Dark Patterns.
To actually fight back, we first need to understand the two main technological weapons corporations use to extract maximum value from your wallet. Basically, platforms use two distinct methods. First, they use algorithmic dynamic pricing for immediate extraction. Think of ride-hailing apps adjusting fares based on demand and weather. And second, they use dark patterns for long-term extraction. So one gets you for as much cash as possible right now, and the other quietly bleeds your account month after month. Let's look at that immediate extraction first. This academic study perfectly outlines how companies like Uber and Didi use your personal travel patterns, your social interactions, and machine learning to adjust prices dynamically. They're constantly monitoring supply and demand imbalances, and they even calculate how sensitive you are to pricing based on your specific user profile. This leads to those unpredictable pricing surges designed to maximize the platform's profit right at the exact moment you need a ride the most.
All right, let's move on to Chapter 2, the Anatomy of Dark Patterns.
Let's step away from the algorithms for a second and look at the exact psychological hurdles built right into your favorite apps to secure that long-term recurring revenue. I guarantee you've experienced at least one of these traps. You have the settings maze, where the cancel button is buried under 5 submenus. The incredibly frustrating phone-only cancellation, where signing up online takes 2 seconds, but leaving requires calling someone during limited business hours. There's the discount loop that offers you 30% off to stay, causing major decision fatigue. And of course, the tricky downgrade buttons that just move you to a cheaper tier instead of actually ending the billing.
So just how bad is it? Well, researchers from Email Tool Tester found that the average subscriber encounters precisely 6.2 of these dark patterns and has to click nearly 7 times just to get from the homepage to a successful cancellation. You are literally fighting a war of attrition against a user interface.
Seriously, if you've ever felt like you were navigating a maze to leave Amazon Prime or a gaming sub, you weren't crazy. The friction is highly intentional. Amazon Prime hits you with over 7 dark patterns, constantly reminding you of all the exclusive offers you're going to lose. Humble Choice was found to use an astounding 12 instances of misdirection. The financial incentive for them is massive here, because even a 1% improvement in retention drastically boosts their bottom line.
What's really wild about this chart is that almost 90% of the major platforms analyzed use a tactic called guilt copy or confirm shaming to stop you from leaving. They don't just make it hard to click a button, they actively try to manipulate your emotions.
Coined by UX expert Harry Brignall, confirm shaming is exactly what it sounds like. It's guilting you into compliance with ridiculous opt-out buttons just like this one. You'll see prompts like, "No thanks, I hate saving money," Or, I don't want to save 90 hours of my time. It completely diverts your attention away from your true goal of leaving and shames you into staying.
Thankfully, things are shifting. Chapter 3, Regulators Fight Back. Consumer protection agencies are finally catching up to these digital extraction tactics. Let's compare the legal landscapes here. While the EU has incredibly strong baseline protections like a 14-day cooling-off period, the US Federal Trade Commission is having a much harder time. The FTC actually tried to implement a broad click-to-cancel rule, but it was recently vacated by a court. So right now, the FTC is having to pursue these companies through standalone Section 5 violations for deceptive practices. If we look over at Europe, this EU rule brilliantly illustrates the ultimate goal for consumer fairness, making the exit just as frictionless as the entrance. Under their Digital Services Act, if a company lets you sign up in 2 clicks, they legally cannot force you into a 30-minute phone call or a massive survey to leave. It must be a 2-click exit.
Over in the US, it's a bit more of a patchwork. Until a federal rule is firmly established, about 30 states have independently created their own guardrails. California, for instance, has a notoriously strict automatic renewal law. And because of this, many nationwide companies are forced into compliance by design, meaning they just adopt these strict standards everywhere simply to legally operate across state lines.
But you don't have to wait for the law. Chapter 4, Financial Self-Defense. Look, the crucial point here is that you can leverage technology to protect yourself today and stop this wealth drain immediately. Your absolute best line of defense is utilizing a virtual credit card. Think of it as a digital buffer between a sketchy merchant or a predatory subscription and your actual bank account. Providers like Privacy.com, FirstCard, and HoloCard let you generate these unique card numbers instantly. So if a merchant gets hacked or if they try to sneakily overcharge you, your real banking information is completely shielded.
Let's walk through the exact self-defense playbook. First, you link your bank to a virtual card provider. Second, you generate a burner card. Third, you set a strict spending limit, say just $2 to validate their initial check. And fourth, you use that card information to sign up for the free trial. When the company tries to silently roll your trial into a paid monthly sub, the transaction just automatically fails.
And this is exactly why it's so powerful. Burner cards are closed upon completion of the first transaction. The merchant will literally never have access to working payment information again. That means no phone calls to retention agents, no navigating a 10-page settings maze, and absolutely no confirm shaming. You bypass their entire corporate retention system by simply turning off the tap at the source.
Bringing it all together. Conclusion: reclaiming your cash flow.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to emphasize just how empowering this is. To defeat automated corporate systems, you need automated personal systems. But cutting expenses is really only half the equation, right? The real magic happens when you turn defensive tracking into offensive investing. Think about it. If you cut just 3 unused subscriptions, you instantly save maybe $45 a month. If you take that exact money and set up an automated transfer into a low-cost S&P 500 index fund, you completely flip the script. Instead of your money compounding in a corporate tech giant's bank account, it compounds in yours. By setting up digital roadblocks like burner cards, you forcefully reclaim your cash flow.
So I'm going to leave you with this final action step. Do what I call a zero-base audit. Look at your bank statements for the last 60 days. Assume every single recurring charge should be canceled unless it actively earned you money or saved you significant time. Find that one leak you completely forgot about and plug it today. If you want more strategies on how to protect your money and build digital systems that scale, hit that subscribe button and let me know in the comments which dark pattern you defeated today. Thanks for joining me, and keep your cash flow protected.